Hello, it's Not in ShawScope, brought to you by Santa and his little elves.
Hello.
What
Hello.
the fuck?
Oh, it's a little elf voice.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Ah,
Didn't you know they sounded like creepy Michael Jackson?
I think that sounds more like one of Michael Jackson's leave-ins.
Yeah.
We're off to another classy start here at Not in ShawScope.
Yeah. Well, I'm dressed as a homeless Santa, so they knew what they were getting when at the first image, really, didn't they?
Yeah.
So anyway, we're doing Not in ShawScope today, aren't we? With me,
I wisely decided not to dress up as Michael Jackson because you're not allowed to do that kind of thing nowadays. So I've heard.
No.
It
hasn't. I have noticed it hasn't stopped Corey Feldman though.
Nope, that is true. He's quite comfortable.
Has anyone seen? Have you seen the videos of Corey Feldman doing his music?
No.
Yes, music in quotation marks there, I think.
Yeah, I find it because I go on TikTok quite often, and if you're lucky, the algorithm will drop some sick Corey Feldman, Michael Jackson beats on your TikTok.
What's he doing? Is he covering Michael Jackson songs?
No, I think that his own songs.
Yeah.
That he does basically dressed as Michael Jackson and with Michael Jackson moves.
Yes, mixed with a certain amount of just creepy lurkingness.
Yeah.
Well,
they're very off-putting.
There's also the irony, though, that isn't he now kind of based his modern career on basically
exposing pedophile rings in Hollywood?
But they're not.
Yeah.
I just can't possibly say at this point, and then kind of dragging it out like a Netflix series, right?
But I think that am I imagining that he is actually a victim of Michael Jackson, isn't he? Isn't he a victim of Michael Jackson, or didn't I?
I don't know. He won't say.
Yeah. No, Anyway, So anyway, so
you mean
what does this have to do with?
I think maybe you're thinking of.
Today,
I think maybe you're thinking of Macaulay Culkin, right? He would hang out with Michael Jackson. At least I don't think he's ever actually said Michael touched me or anything like that. But
no, I do think that there was questions around.
You might be right. Well, might have been. He was in that.
He was definitely at the Neverland Ranch. There's no question.
Yeah.
I'm not sure again why we're just voting so much of our episode about butterfly lovers.
Yeah, well,
I don't even remember how we got onto this, and it's 2 minutes ago.
Yeah, I don't think we got that much to say about butterfly lovers, so we're just filling. Yeah, and it's Christmas, so
Yeah. So it's the season for
discussing
horrendous sexual abuse,
of child abuse.
Yeah. See, we don't have a Christmas tree. We got a yew tree. See?
I don't
understand at all.
So in the UK, when they brought down Gary Glitter and Rolf Harris and Jimmy Savile, it was called Operation Yew Tree.
Right. Okay. Do it again now.
Cut there.
Do it again.
Okay.
Now. Right. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Because you always edit so strictly on this show. Yes, that's it.
Well, then, right.
So anyway, we don't have a Christmas tree in our house, do we, boys?
Yeah.
We right? You know what we have? We got a yew tree.
Child abuse. It's hilarious.
Right. Good.
See, that's Santa's present to you. But
what is a yew tree?
It's a tree, isn't it?
Yeah, but what is the wood of the yew used for? Is it used for anything, or does it grow?
I can tell you a bit about yew trees actually, because yew trees are usually found in graveyards.
Oh, okay.
And I don't think they can live indefinitely regenerate, but they're one of those trees that can be literally thousands of years old. And if you eat the berries, it kills you.
I wonder why they went with that name for that operation. Is there some significance?
I don't know. Maybe there was an Operation Oak and an Operation Ash, and maybe they were just going through
working through the trees.
Yeah, like storms. You get a Storm Barbara, and then you get a Storm Jack, and they're just going through a list of names, maybe.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm hoping for Operation Jack Coddy Bow. That would be a good name.
That would be good. Yeah.
You know what a Jack Coddy Bow is?
No idea. What is this, Clive?
That's what we call a JCB.
Okay. All right. Yes, I remember JCBs as a child.
So that's
Jack
carrying.
Go on, Clive.
Yeah, picking up mud.
Okay.
But it's JCB as well.
Yeah.
Jack Coddy Bow. So it's an
very
acronym.
clever.
It's incredibly clever, and and they've given the industrial machinery a name called Jack, and they've also described his job, which is picking up dirt.
I reckon whoever came up with it should have got the Nobel Prize.
Right.
For literature. Yes. Yes. Yeah.
Which brings us neatly to
yes.
What are we talking about, Santa? Sorry, Darren.
Yes.
Darren Corn.
Well, my Sean Santa, not Darren Corn. What you on about?
Darren Corn.
So I quite like the look of me in this beard. I'm quite. It is a bit itchy and it's a bit hot, so I'm not going to keep it on all show. But yeah, I think it's making me look distinguished.
I think so too. Yes.
Yes.
There's something wizardly about it all, I think.
Yeah. So yeah. Anyway,
it would be more distinguished if you didn't have straps going towards it.
Oh, I'll tell you what. Before we get on to the film,
I
want to show everyone my Christmas jumper.
Oh yeah, that would be a shame not to.
So if you look there, right? So if you look, see, you've got cats on there, right, and little baubles, right? But the other thing it's got on it, it's got chips. It's got chips on it.
Because everything goes better with chips.
There's chips on there. Yeah. So yeah. So very
kind of a 3-in-1 if the other two involved cats and Christmas balls.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm gonna break the fourth wall now and actually become Darren again.
Okay.
Because it's all a bit hot under there. So yes.
But the big surprise was going to be that it was actually Ron all along doing your voice.
Doing an excellent.
Yeah, spot on.
Darren.
Well, see, when I was on Magic Morning Wood, I think it was the first time I was on Magic Morning Wood, and when it was audio only, I did an impression of Ron, and I'm sure you could tell it was Ron. It was. I'm sure it was indistinguishable.
Oh yeah, the video destroys the illusion.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So anyway, tonight we are looking at. So we're riffing off of Love Eternal, right? So and the I suppose you call it a myth now. Of the butterfly lovers.
Yeah, well, I was thinking about this, right? And correct me if I'm wrong, but I get the feeling that when we watched The Love Eternal, listening back to our chat about it, I don't think it necessarily twigged straight away. We took the film at face value, and we weren't really immediately aware of the legend or the myth or the story behind it, right?
No.
And then, and we kind of just talked of it on its own terms. And then afterwards, I remember thinking about it. Hang on, but and then looked at, oh yeah, of course, it is actually a very there's films before Love Eternal, there's films after, like we're going to talk about today. But I think when we talked Love Eternal, I don't think we necessarily understood it in the context of it being a well-known tale, right? But now we know. We watched 2 more versions of it, so yeah. What are they then, Darren? What are these 2 versions?
So today, children,
Darren
we
Corn.
are going to. That's it. That's all right. I don't mind.
That's nice. Darren Corn sounds, Also distinguished.
Yeah. But for those who don't know, because I'm
including
sure
including one of your three hosts.
Oh
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
yeah,
So-
yeah.
yeah. So for all of our
I think we call
non-Welsh
them.
listeners,
We call them retarded. I think. Isn't it?
I thought
that's
he got
all
it out before the show. I thought he got it all out
I
before
thought
the show.
I was hoping we dealt with all the racism, the disabled humor and stuff before we got on air, but as usual,
It's Christmas.
Yeah.
find a way
It's
to.
Christmas.
Anyway, go on.
So anyway, you will notice that for the festive season, I've called myself Sean Darren, right? And Clive is doing there is riffing off of that.
I am.
Because
but hang on. Can you first explain to me, Darren, what the Sean Darren means?
Well, he's just getting there.
I'm getting there.
Yeah.
You've got to be patient.
Thank you. Okay.
So anyway, the reason I put Sean in front of there is the Welsh word for Santa Claus is Darren Corn.
Okay.
And that's why Clive is calling me Darren Corn.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's one of those things that after you explain it, it's quite deflating and.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It just begs to me the thing. I'm trying to remember if there's a Gaelic, like an Irish Gaelic name for Santa Claus. I suppose there probably is, but I don't remember what it is at all.
Well, it's quite interesting as well.
Santy, like as a kid, Santa Claus was that was.
There ain't no sanity clause.
Well, it's quite interesting actually, because Sean Corn can be translated to John Horn, as in horns, or possibly horn.
I believe for those who didn't
probably
follow,
not horn.
Darren is suggesting that maybe a penis might have been involved, just for those who went over their head.
But funny enough, Sean Corrins just sounds like an Irish guy to me.
And also, well, we'd be quite impressive, Darren, if you're pulling it up at that height.
Well, that's where the screen is, isn't it?
Yes. Just showing off.
So much good be doing it where it actually is it?
Yeah. Somewhat off camera, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
I wonder if
you might see a twitch of a shoulder.
Jim will fix it. Did have Christmas specials, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Do you think he?
Oh, good. We're back to this again.
I just wondered, do you think he treated himself to a couple of extra kids for the Christmas shows? Copped a couple of extra feels. It's Christmas, isn't it? Hey, did you watch the Steve Coogan playing Jimmy Savile thing?
Yes, that was actually really good.
He was fucking great, I have to say. One of the best.
Although it did veer into Partridge every once in a while as well, though.
Yeah, but I think that's just he did such a good job with Alan Partridge that he's going to be around his neck like an albatross.
Yeah. But no,
he was fucking
hands down his best performance.
It was very, very good.
I haven't seen this. Okay, so I'll make a note.
Yeah, I think it was on BBC.
Yeah, it's called The Reckoning. It's like a 4-part miniseries. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, really good. Yeah. So anyway, that aside,
so
we are talking about two films.
You can tell that Clive really wants to talk about these two films. He's desperate. He's gagging to talk about these two things.
None of us have got a lot to say. However, I would draw our attention to last month's hilarious. Hang on, was it in It was in ShawScope podcast where we spent approximately 3/4 of it talking about toilets and me shitting myself.
Yes.
Which is excellent fodder for all our listeners.
I'm sure 88 films are going to email us any second to do the commentaries for their Shaw releases, right? Because
or Arrow or Eureka, we're not fussy. Vinegar Syndrome, we'll take a call from Vinegar Syndrome, no problem.
They're impressed by our, staying on point.
Our business-like attitude.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, if an amateurish outfit like, Podcast on Fire can get in on that action, then, I'm sure we can.
That's right.
Now we'll know if he watches it or not.
Yes. Happy birthday, Kenneth.
Yeah.
Merry
Anyway.
Christmas, even, not happy birthday. Anyway.
Yeah, Merry Christmas, Mr. Kenneth.
So,
how do you pronounce his name? Borson.
Brorson, I think.
Brorson.
Yeah.
That's it.
Again, if you
Anyway.
actually watch, let us know how to pronounce your name. He does.
Please do, and it is actually an excellent podcast. Recommend it to all.
Yes, but he doesn't watch, I don't think. So
I don't think so. No.
No.
So anyway, so we are doing 2 films tonight. We are doing The Lovers from 1994, and we are doing Butterfly Lovers from 2008. So why don't we just go straight into it? I'm going to The Lovers from 1994, which I completely glossed over the fact that Choi Hark made a film even fucking resembling this. This was not on my radar as part of his oeuvre at all. I mean, had either of you seen it before?
no, again, not really my
No.
thing necessarily. So I mean, there's a lot of. I was confusing it as well for a while with. There's that other film, The Lover, without the S. Is it from 92 or something? Which I remember because it was one of the few times my parents went to the cinema, even at all, really. But that they went to see this in Brunman Cinema, and I couldn't go with them because it's a naughty film, isn't it, The Lover?
Yeah.
Which is a film I don't think I've still seen to this day, but I remember, Mum and Dad are off to watch some porn, which was unusual.
Yeah, Channel 4 must have been on the blink that day.
Yeah, they seem to have liked it as well. I think I don't remember anything. Is maybe there's a Hong Kong. Is Tony Leung in The Lover? I think that's maybe why I confuse the two. I think Tony Leung might be the star of The Lover.
Possibly, yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it strikes me as one of those. I don't know. It might be because I've never seen. You've not seen it either, Nick, have you?
No.
It looks like one of those films in the vein of like Emmanuel or something like that, like white people in an exotic place having sex. But I might be wrong about that. And yeah, I would confuse it with The Lovers. I thought The Lovers was something slightly more erotic rather than this.
Yeah. So who's in it then? So we've got Charlie Young Choi Nei, Nicky Wu, good old Elvis. Good old Elvis Choi's in there. Carrie Ng is in there.
Yeah. Well, they're the parents.
From Naked Killer.
Yes.
Yeah. Lau Shun, Sung Zing, Hao Bing Ying, and a few other people that I didn't find worthy of writing down, to be honest.
Yeah, so Charlie Young and Wu being the main couple who apparently did become a couple. Film as well. Yeah.
Well, yeah, and this happened in both films apparently as well.
Oh, really? It happened in Butterfly Lovers as well.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Apparently. So so obviously, the Butterfly Lovers just gets you horny, but only if you're an actor in the film. I can't say I had any stirrings.
I'm not off to Brunman Cinema to watch this without my son.
No. So and so this one is, I mean, Choi Hark's not doing a bad job at it.
Yeah, I mean, maybe should we just very quickly do, for those who missed the Lover Turn or don't know the Butterfly Lovers story, so it's in this version it's AD3, Eastern Jin Dynasty apparently, and Charlie Young is coming of age to be married off, but she's very unladylike.
She's useless. She's useless. She knows nothing. She can't do poetry. She can't play music. She's got no skills whatsoever.
And she's very unladylike, right? She's very kind of thumps about.
She literally has to tie her legs together in order to have that little kind of, scampering walk.
So Elvis, Choi, and Carrie Young as her parents decide to send her off to school and she has to disguise as a boy, and while there falls for Hickey Woo, who have a kind of bromance going on, and him wondering, am I gay? Because
Yeah, this all reminded me of that episode of Blackadder where
Oh yeah,
one with Bob.
Yeah.
Yes,
It was very similar in that way. With anyway.
Yes, and and then it switches into tragedy in the second half, where, spoilers, they can't be together and she's forced into a marriage with someone else for the sake of the family. He ends up getting sick and dying, and then they are reunited by, well, in the Love Return, was there some kind of lightning bolt from the sky or something?
Yeah, it was definitely a magical weather event.
Yeah, and in this one, it's like a earthquake sinkhole or something that kind of and then when we get to it later, Butterfly Lovers kind of changes it up a little bit, which I was kind of surprised.
Yeah.
Well, one of the big differences actually between this version and the Love Return is in the Love Return, the male character, although in that film played by a woman, he just dies of a broken heart. He just dies of sadness, right? It's very whereas in this one, I feel like they need to give some explanation to that's not really.
I think what happens is he catches COVID from an old Santa Claus beard that he dug up.
Yeah, I think that's what happens. Yes.
Yeah.
So in that version, but I do like in every version that clearly, like I'm guessing in the original story, there's a very important scene where somebody gobs up chunks of their lung. Because in every version we've seen, there's been a splatter effect going on.
That's a good place as well to sort of mention. So we have said that this is a kind of retold, almost mythical story at this point, but what's kind of interesting is it's one of those ones that doesn't really have, as far as I know, I'm sure it has appeared in versions in anthologies or something, but it doesn't seem to have an urtext like novel like Water Margin or Golden Lotus or other things that we've discussed, Dream of the Red Chamber, etc. I couldn't find like a
no, it's because it's just a story. I think it's just a myth, isn't it? Yeah.
Oral tradition passed down kind of thing, right? Yeah,
because it's pretty old. Because I think I didn't make extensive notes, but I'm pretty sure there's a good 1,000 years worth of history on this story.
Right.
Which is which says it's in the culture. Says it's in
the analogy I could, not particularly good, but the one I always think of in terms of things like this is you've got your Dracula's got your Bram Stoker and Frankenstein's got the Mary Shelley, but there isn't like a big mummy novel or
Wolfman
novel that everyone copies, right?
Yeah, or a Creature from the Black Lagoon novel.
Yeah.
Or a Frankenstein meets the Wolfman, or an Abbott and Costello meet Dracula and Old Mother Riley.
Right, or a Spawn of the Slithis novel. Is that one of them?
No.
Can I tell you, I met one of the stars of Spawn of the Slithis. Yeah, he lives here.
Oh,
he's been here since like the 70s. He's in Godzilla 1984. He's a nice man called Dennis Fault. Hello, Dennis. And I met him at an audition, and I think he was quite surprised that someone knew what Spawn of the Slithis was.
Well, what's great about that is, so one of my friends in university produced a zine called Sinjanor versus Slithis, which Sandy Plotnikoff, and he went on to do one of the most infamous pranks. He was basically one of those merry prankster types. He won one of the most infamous pranks in my town that got nationwide coverage, which I could go into length as I was involved in, but I won't here. But anyway, it involved food terrorism. And if you want me to tell the story, I can tell it at the end when we're not filming the episode about the Butterfly Lovers. But anyway, yes. So
I'm keen to get a copy of the Sinjanor versus Slithis comic to Dennis. I'll
I'll
find it.
see what I can find. I'll see
Yeah.
if I can dig it up. I'm sure it's in a box somewhere.
Right.
Cool.
Yeah. So, anyways, I was worth mentioning that's yeah, we couldn't go to a specific source short story or something like that.
Right, but obviously this gobbing up, your lung is part of it because it's in every version we've seen so far.
Yeah. Oh well, but also, potentially it's a cinematic trope rather than a literary trope as well, because
so it could be
Love
just
It-
the love etern is the
there's
or a previous
versions
older
of the
film
as well.
version, yeah.
So, and it's but it's a very visual, obviously, and very cinematic to have a big piece of paper, write on this and then
right. But in this version, he does have the shit kicked out of him by her parents, thugs, right? So we get a bit more of a reason maybe for his precipitous decline in health, which is also carried through in the next film as well, where there's is more excuse than just the broken heart.
Perfect couple of actors to kind of carry that off as well. I think at first there's this whole comical thing about him putting on makeup to look younger and all, but then
yes, lots of face cream.
When they need to turn gangster, Elvis Choi and Carrie Young are quite convincing.
Yeah, she's great.
They are
very
fucking
cold, very
bringing it. Yeah,
scary mom for sure.
Yeah. Well, they both are as well, because he's got this fucking grotesque makeup on,
right?
And it's like he's just like staring down. He's just staring down the slightest dishonor, and just fucking riding over his family to achieve it.
Yeah,
it's
fun to
nice.
see Elvis Choi in this, actually, because for some reason at this period I always think of him as more of a category 3 or exploitation stalwart, which he was as well. But to see him in this kind of, because I'm pretty sure this was quite a prestige release. I think Choi Hark's take on the Lovers, right? Like I remember kind of being like the kind of thing that would have played festivals and stuff like that, right? And it's a good looking film, I have to say, shot by David Chung Chi Man, the director of Robo Force, Royal Warriors, and It's a Drink, It's a Bomb.
Oh yes,
he's done a good job. It's a very sumptuous looking film.
I will say that unlike maybe his Green Snake, I felt like I watched this movie with the remote firmly held in my hand, and I missed some of the sexier side. I was surprised that he didn't bring some of that more erotic, how do you fucking say that word, to this, because it seems like a story that could be kind of ripe for maybe amping up the sex, and given that he'd done that in his Green Snake, I was surprised that it's very chaste.
Yeah,
I don't know. I mean, there's. I think he goes further. Certainly goes further. Well, in some ways, goes further than Love Etern, in terms of there's this scene in the cave, isn't it, where they separate,
right?
And they definitely fuck in the cave, even though nothing is seen.
Yeah.
Which is not the case for either of the other versions of this that we've seen.
Yeah.
So in that way, he's there's more sex in this than either of the other films we either have discussed or will discuss.
But still, by comparison, there's a lot less writhing around, and
it would make an interesting companion. I'm wondering if that's how they were set up when they were first released, because there's even a brief mention of, was it in this one? There was a brief,
or the other one. One of the two mentions Green Snake
at the very beginning. Yeah.
Oh, it's the other one. It's the other one.
It's the other one.
Okay.
Yeah. It's because it's about the lives, isn't it? It's the lives repeated.
Ah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
But it did reinforce to me, just because we talked a little bit about this before, not Love Etern by itself, but as an example of, and we did talk before about how the kind of the gender switch stuff that Shaw was up to. Like, I really do feel that its time has come. Like, I'm surprised that there hasn't been a bit of, like, Love Eternal would be a perfect example of a film that I think a lot of people would be really ready for, because there's a lot of interest in things non-binary, right?
Yeah.
And there's something fascinating about the way, particularly Love Eternal plays around with. So obviously you've got the whole being in disguise thing, but then having a woman play it just brings all sorts of interesting things to the surface that you're not even thinking about.
Well,
So I just think they would be the kind of films that would be really fascinating to young people now who maybe aren't aware that people were doing, some places in the world were doing things like this 60 years ago, right?
Yeah.
And I feel I did, while I was watching this, I did kind of have the feeling that Choi Hark was chickening out.
Yep.
Not having a female actor play the male role, because it just felt like it was doing more justice to what I suppose you can call the original, even though it's not the first.
Right.
And Choi Hark likes to be a bit edgy once in a while, doesn't he? I think, but again, I think, we're not in the politics of Hong Kong or Hong Kong cinema, so we don't know what was going on at that time. But it did feel like,
in retrospect, it seems like a bit of a shame, because you certainly are not going to get that out of a modern mainland Chinese version of Butterfly Lovers, right?
No.
I would say, funnily, it's that I think that Charlie Young plays the most convincing of all the ones that I've seen. The one where I'm like, you know what? Like, she's not going to pass, but like somehow there's something about slightly more masculine about her look and about the way she acts than any of the others. And he's slightly more effeminate.
Yes.
Like Nicky, although I will say that the next guy in the next film was also quite a beautiful man.
Right.
Not like and we'll get to that when we get to it. But I thought like they were a little bit less, as a couple, they were a bit less binary than maybe, But yes, I agree. It's not as daring as having both people.
I did like, although I didn't at all understand how it got started, I did find the thing when they ring the bell and do the faces quite cute.
Weirdly cute.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know why they started doing it. I couldn't quite figure it out. It went from 0 to 60 like pretty quickly, but but they were, I know it was that's going.
But I think I think there were a lot of cute moments in this, like the whole thing with the water and and of course the bell thing, and this, because they're just like, because they're establishing their relationship and the character in the film by little in-jokes they have with each other and little pranks they play on each other, and it's, as far as character development goes, I think it did an excellent job of just establishing that these people are mates and then lovers, and it's a very easy transition to make. Although I know it was 1994, I know it's nearly 30 years ago, but I think Choi Hark could have amped up the edginess, and
it's funny, that's not something that struck me until you brought it up. I mean, I see what you're saying. For some reason, it didn't occur to me. I didn't expect that for some reason, even though we had just seen Green Snake. So in Choi Hark's kind of filmography as well, for context. So this is between Green Snake and Once Upon a Time in China 5 as a director. But the other thing that me and Darren will be I'm not sure if you've seen it, Nick, but the same year as this, of course, he's a producer on Burning Paradise, which is one of those ones, I think, because Choi Hark's famously, like, if he's producer on something, that his fingerprints are all over it, right? He's not a hands-off kind of producer. But because we have a slight mixed history with Choi Hark, we love some things, other things we find him a bit infuriating, right? But Burning Paradise, even though I'm sure he had a big influence, I mean, that does feel like a Ringo Lam film.
Oh, it's
Choi
yeah,
Hark, right?
yeah, for sure. But I
you seen
think on
Burning
the
Paradise?
visuals,
Sorry,
No.
Okay.
oh, get on that. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I mean, we could do that. We could do
Well,
that with
we
something.
will, because when we get to 1966,
Well, it's Red Lotus Temple, isn't it? So,
yeah, so we'll be definitely any excuse to watch Burning Paradise, because
well, I recently, but there's a new Blu-ray release out of and I bought it and I haven't watched it yet, so I'll save it.
I haven't seen it for ages, and looking forward to revisiting Burning Paradise.
Yeah, Nick, you will really like Burning Paradise.
Awesome.
And if you don't, then you're banished.
There's something wrong.
Yeah. So
well, there is.
But I think you nailed it. When you use the word cute, I think Choi Hark's doing a really good job for the first at least half of the film, probably more, in making those two characters somewhat adorable, or rather their relationship kind of adorable. You know, and for that reason, it's pretty entertaining, I think.
Yeah, I quite enjoyed watching it.
Yeah, it was okay. Yeah.
When it turns tragic, it is, quite tragic. Although, again, both of these, especially the next one we're going to talk about, I feel the Love Return, again, did a bit. Are we all agreed that the Love Return is still the best version of this that we've
seen?
Yeah.
Hands down. Yeah.
It felt that felt a bit more tonally of a piece that went from the earlier parts to the tragedy, like a bit more gradually, and
it was the grinding of gears.
Yeah. Both of these were a little bit but suddenly more dark, which I don't have a problem with. I think anyone who enjoys Hong Kong films gets used to the gear change, right? But Love Return, definitely does that a lot smoothly.
Yeah. Although I would say, when it gets dark, when this one gets dark, it's also doing a very good job of getting dark, because I remember making a big underlined note in my notes when she's in the marriage carriage, like the sedan thing, and she looks like a zombie. So she's got this like really white makeup with all the red gubbins, and there's the kind of the flowing silk thing that Choi Hark likes to do.
Well, using the correct pronunciation of the Chinese word for that wears, which I believe is gubbins.
Yeah. Well,
Well, to be fair, it's goobins. Yeah, but
well, it depends on the region. To be fair,
yes, yeah. But still,
you have to realize, Clive, that China is not a homogenous nation.
It's not a monolithic culture at all. Yeah.
No, exactly. So that's you told.
Yeah, I do feel old. Yeah.
Yeah, but no, but I think when it gets when he decides to turn the screw on the tragedy, I think he's doing a pretty decent job of it.
Well, she literally weeps blood.
Yeah.
Right, which is pretty intense, right? These scenes of her bloody tears pouring down her faces, And I'll also say that Mum is an interesting character in this one, because Mum, they've established in this version that Mum has already been to the school as a young woman, and has had this experience already. Has already pretended to be a young man. Has fallen in love with a fellow there, and then deliberately and mercenarily, that's a word, made the choice, no, fuck love, I am marrying for power, leaves, and this guy is so devastated that she's left behind. He becomes a monk and ends up being this kind of character who gives some like sagely advice as the film goes on about, well, I've kind of lived this myself.
Well, you don't want to be cuckolded by Elvis Choi.
No, that's got hurt.
Because that's, I mean, in one film, The Eternal Evil of Asia, he's literally a penis at one point, right? He turns into a literal.
Yeah. He's got a head. He's got a helmet. His head is a helmet. Is literally a head, isn't it?
Yeah. And he pisses himself, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Another film we might have to shoehorn into the knot in ShawScope.
Well, funny enough, I was looking at Elvis Choi today on HKMDB, and I looked, and you know on HKMDB you have probably about 8 images of them across the screen. The 8th image was him as a helmet.
Darren Choi.
Exactly. But anyway, but yeah, I mean, you know, it's like I enjoyed watching it. I think, but I can't really recommend it.
It's a bit disposable.
Yeah.
And just on the tragedy thing as well, when it turns dark, it also just feels more like I think Choi Hark just seems a bit more at home in that section of the film. Like he rises to that a little bit more. I'm not sure if he, do you know what I mean? It seems to be a mode he's more suited for, that kind of, rather than the more, apart from. I did enjoy it.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I suppose if we're gonna big up Choi Hark, right? And I'm still in my Choi Hark rehabilitation.
Yes.
Right?
I know you're reluctant to.
Yeah. But
feel it.
To defend Choi Hark, I mean, Choi Hark is actually good at the cute stuff as well, right?
Yeah.
Not just in this. If you think of the whole Once Upon a Time in China.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So the whole Rosamund Kwan and Jet Li kind of, will they, won't they, cute auntie thing. He's good at that. That's, yeah.
I feel you're in this phase of kind of, I reckon if it does you, me and Nick, let's say you and Nick are standing on the street in front of a brick wall, just kicking a football against the wall or something, smoking cigarettes. And then I turn up and I'm like, oh, look, Choi is here, and Nick would be, oh, hey, Choi. And Darren would just he'd be slouching a little bit with his hands in his pockets, and he'd just kind of look up, right? Like he wouldn't full on.
No.
Yeah.
No, but I'm also at the stage where, after an hour,
yeah,
he's in the gang, he's,
Yeah.
I don't exclude the boy.
Yeah. Do you want a JPS? Oh.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah. A Darren trademark JPS.
Yes.
Yeah. Which I don't smoke anymore. I smoke different fags now. But anyway, that's a different story.
That's for a cigarette YouTube video series that we're going to be starting soon.
Yes. Yeah, but it's. I'll tell you what I was. So this is the thing as well, right? So you can't talk about either of these two films without talking about Love Eternal, right? And without giving too many spoilers, in my opinion, for the next film, in neither film did they get the dramatic lightning bolt in the tomb, butterfly or butterfly angel versions of the characters rise up. And as soon as you've seen Love Eternal, and as soon as you've actually just seen Love Eternal, regardless of reading the myth, as soon as you've seen that, as soon as you get to sort of 15 minutes before the end, that's what you're waiting to see, right? Well, that was my experience anyway. So they're going to the tomb. The ground's going to open up. And,
yes. Oh, you mean while watching these versions? After watching
while watching these versions, after watching Love Eternal.
Yes.
They have the same trope of the tomb, the same plot point of the tomb, and I'm good. Oh, excellent! Right, tomb time. And well, they both pale in comparison to Love Eternal in terms of visuals and just kind of feelings.
Well, shall we move into Butterfly Lovers then slowly? Because
although I will say she does dive head first into the hole. This
I like that. No, it's good.
Weird.
I think Butterfly Lover, it doesn't have a satisfying name, but because they did something different after already watching two other versions, I kind of found that interesting. Like the film,
the Butterfly Lovers,
estimation a little bit.
Yeah.
Not that it's necessarily brilliant or anything, but it's just, at least they did do something different. So
Yeah. No, I'm into that. Yeah, because I kind of like, because the last thing I want to say on The Lovers is I really, really wanted Troy Hark, and I know why he did. Well, I know why he didn't go that direction, but I really kind of wanted Troy Hark to go in a little bit more of a fantasy direction at the end. You know, a little bit more of a fated lovers thing. We're bound in reincarnations.
This was more of a natural disaster. Yeah,
exactly. It was all. Yeah, exactly. But no, it was more. It was kind of more. It was a very grounded version of the myth, wasn't it? It was a very kind of secular version of the.
Yeah,
I'm
imagining now Butterfly Lovers with Shelley Winters.
Yeah.
And George Kennedy as the parents.
I would. Well, actually, I'd pay good money to see Shelley Winters dressed up in drag, playing the male lead.
Oh no, I was going to have them as the parents, and then
parents, right?
Oh no. She makes a good mum, right? But also a slightly younger Shelley Winters as the male lead would have been quite good.
If we're putting late 70s, I'm thinking maybe Linda Blair as our main lead who disguises herself as a boy.
Yep.
It's going to be fucking Dick Van Patten or someone like that, isn't
it? Yes.
The late 70s Irwin Allen TV version of Butterfly Lovers as a disaster film.
Yes.
There we go. Put it on the roster with all our Carry On Kung Fu on buses things.
Yes, there we are. Done.
The world is so lucky that we're not all independently wealthy and actually make these films happen.
Make these things happen. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not the first time Irwin Allen's turned up on this podcast either, is it?
Although what's sad is I'd imagine it's only 5 years before we could just say that into an AI generator and it'll produce the 2-hour-long TV movie with a period accurate ads in it and everything.
So like a deep fake kind of
You'll do like computer make me an Irwin Allen film starring Dick Van Patten.
I welcome the day that can happen.
We could just do that. Yeah.
At the future. I tell you, this is like an episode of Tomorrow's World.
Yeah.
Is that still on? Is that still on?
No, I think it's gone. No, I think Tomorrow's World.
Well, we're here, right? Tomorrow
10 years ago.
That's where, yeah.
Because we are all flying in flying cars instead of driving cars, Yeah.
I always think about how great it is that the 1970s science fiction comic 2000 AD is still called 2000 AD, despite the fact that that's now 23 years in the past.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they really should have learned to do 3
jump a bit further ahead.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe, than like what was at that point.
Yeah, and I think also the nuclear holocaust in Terminator 2 is like 10 years ago or something as well.
So there was a lot of that in the 80s of like in the mid 1990s. 1990, the Bronx Warriors.
Well, the one I always
remember, of course,
The one I always remember from when I was a kid was, I can't remember which. It was one of the Godzilla films when they used to show them, and it opens. It says something like, "It is 1999, and there are daily trips to the moon."
Yep. Yeah. And then Ricardo Montalban was involved in various in the old Star Trek, like in the basically Khan comes to power.
Oh yeah, because that's in the 90s, isn't it?
Yeah. Right, when he basically takes over the world, and then he's also involved in the mid 90s in the Ape Uprising in one of the fourth Planet of the Apes movies.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, because he's the circus bloke, isn't he? Yeah.
So Ricardo was involved in all kinds of mid to early 90s future shenanigans.
I think Ricardo Montalban should have lived forever. I think he should have been, if I could choose any star of TV and film to be immortal, it would have been Ricardo Montalban.
I strongly agree.
Because there's always a use for Ricardo Montalban.
Conquest is the one badly in need of a rewatch as well, I think, because isn't Conquest the one that's only recently come out on the blue with the original ending that was because they fucked about with the ending.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
I'm quite keen to rewatch the.
I would love to see that because there's a lot more human versus ape shit.
Yeah,
there's a lot more rebellion stuff in that.
Yeah, it's very
before the
compromised
proper,
in the theatrical version, I think. So
yeah.
in fact,
I haven't seen. Yeah.
it's time maybe to. I haven't done the series actually so I might do that because
The TV series.
I'll put my money down if you want to do a fucking show about us rewatching the Planet of the Apes films. I'm in.
I would do the films, not the series.
Like not the TV series, obviously.
No.
No. But definitely,
you're talking to Clive, right?
Oh,
yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because we're doing the series. We're doing the whole
Of
Japanese
course.
Time of the Apes series.
Yeah, of course. Yes.
Yeah, and we're doing that.
Obviously, the cartoon.
Doing that.
You know.
Yeah, and we're doing that thing you used to get that you had to click to show the
The
images.
Viewmaster reels.
Yeah,
Viewmaster.
Yeah. Do it proper.
The Marvel comics run. You know, it's yeah.
Mind you, if anyone out there hasn't watched the Japanese Sara no Gundan Time of the Apes or the feature, that's actually a film I saw thanks to Darren, because I remember Darren when we were living in North London coming back one day with Time of the Apes VHS, the feature, the English dub from like Pound Stretcher or something like that in a big old shell box.
I have completely forgotten about that film until you just mentioned it.
Yeah.
I think it's still in my collection.
Got it with the gorillas with the laser whips and
yeah.
That's a top.
I'm not wrong. It's got Japanese children in very small shorts, as many of those.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, and UFOs, and it's a crazy film.
Yeah.
Anyway. So
let's go back to China.
Oh, sure.
In AD3.
Yes, we shall go forward though to 2008.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
The Montalban era.
Yeah. So Nick.
Yes. So jingle ma, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to remake the Love a Turn in a Wuja Chambara way.
Oh.
Hey.
He fucking prepared that.
That wasn't bad. To be honest, I was expecting his usual old shit. But that was pretty good.
All right.
Yeah, well done.
And also notice how we didn't leave you hanging this time, Nick.
Yes, that was nice.
We were nice to you today.
I appreciate that. I wasn't cut off.
It's Christmas.
Yeah, yes, it's the season of giving.
Yes, and Darren might even be civil to Choi Hack. So, yeah. So
well, you know, I was through 3 sizes that day.
It's a beautiful thing to see.
So nothing like an enlarged heart, you know.
Yeah.
I hear it's a good thing.
Which is something that's good for your health, I'm sure.
I believe so.
Those people with enlarged hearts live for twice as long, don't they?
All right then. So Butterfly Lovers 2008 by Jingle Ma. Yeah.
Is that why you sang the jingle song?
Well, yes. Yes, it is. Right. Darren.
Just in case no one got it.
Also known when it came out in the UK under the awful nothing to do title
Assassin's
Blade.
Assassin's Blade. Yes. Generic title producer, I guess. So they plugged in.
Yeah.
I would be fucking furious if I bought the DVD of this in 2003 or whenever it came out over here.
What, 5 years before it was made? That would be amazing.
Oh, that's right. Sorry. We're not in 94 anymore. My apologies.
Yes.
2011.
Right. I was going to say, because if I bought it, I'd be impressed as fuck.
How do they do this?
Yes. And there's a DeLorean parked in front of the shop.
Well, my mate Erwin Allen, let me go in his tunnel.
There we go.
Nice. And I'll leave it there.
Erwin comes up again. Irwin's a name you don't see that much anymore.
No, Irwin's good.
Not these days, although I believe the chief of the reserve that I lived on was an Irwin. So there you go. So maybe it's a name that now mostly lives in indigenous communities. Who knows?
That's fucked up, isn't it? That is actually quite
I stopped it's dead. Yes. I would like to do that once in an episode. Just fucking cut the legs from under us.
It reminds me that Alexi Sale used to have a joke, which was Winston Churchill would be, known for his witty sayings and also for his leadership during World War II, but also mainly for being the last white guy to be called Winston. That was very good.
Yes.
Yeah. That's because he killed all the brown people, to be fair.
Well, yes. He was involved in the Boer War.
Yeah. He was quite keen on murdering all the people before World War II. But anyway.
So yeah, Jingle Ma.
Jingle Ma.
Do you guys know? I did not know. I'd never heard of Jingle Ma before.
I have seen some of the Jingle Ma films. I don't think he's ever, workman director. I think there's a few things might be all right, but and other things that are shite as well. It's just it is one of those names that jumps out, like, because it's not even a name, is it? Jingle, it's a noise.
No,
so,
it's a noise. Yeah.
Listen,
I've always liked Jingle Man. There's one Hong Kong film director whose name is Batman Hung. I've always quite liked that as well.
hang on. Whoa. Stop. You're forgetting Tomato Chan.
Oh. Is there a Tomato Chan?
No, it's not Chan.
No,
is it? Fruit Chan.
Yeah.
No, it's
yeah. Tomato Chan is still available if anyone's... if there's any upcoming directors in Hong Kong looking for a moniker, Tomato Chan is still available as far as I know.
Yeah. Register the domain name now.
I'm going for this Swong is my
I know, hang on. I'm sure there's a tomato someone out there. Hang on.
There's a tomato du plenty. I think that was
there's a tomato. It's actually Tomato Toe is who I was thinking of.
Okay.
Oh.
So there's
Tomato Toe.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
He's got one big, enlarged, round, red toe.
Yeah. No. So I was not wrong.
Well,
however,
you were.
I did actually. Well, yeah, I did actually confuse Chan with Tomato Toe.
But anyway, let's go back to this film directed by Asparagus Wang.
That's the one.
I wonder if there is an asparagus.
I should get ahead of this right now and say that I actually liked this way more than I should have. And so I don't care what the two of you have to say about this, but for some reason, I was like, I felt like,
fair, Nick, that's not a very conducive attitude to do.
No, I'm just saying, like, fuck you.
I don't care what you
saying right off the bat. I don't give a shit. No, it's like I felt like I should be grinding my teeth all the way through this, and for some reason, I just let myself go at a certain point, or maybe 20 minutes in. I was like, I'm fine with this. And then as it got more stupid and more hackneyed and more ridiculous, I was even more just like, yeah, this is great. It just washed over me in glowing reds and like blues and just the chambaraness of it all, and the 2000s chambaraness of it all weirdly appealed to me quite strongly, despite the fact that I didn't think either of the leads were particularly strong. And what the fuck is T Long doing in this?
Yeah. Yeah. Because he's hardly in it, right?
Right.
So it's just T Long looking quite old, actually.
Almost unrecognizable, I would say.
Yeah. No, he's and I'm sure there's stuff he's been in since this where he's kind of looked better and looked a bit more dignified, but whatever. But I'm not agreeing with you that.
Okay, that's fine. You don't have to.
I immersed myself in this.
Yeah, because he just said he doesn't care. So
yeah, no, it's fine. Yeah.
No, I will say actually it wasn't like you said, it wasn't necessarily the teeth grinding exercise that I thought it might be. I mean, it was definitely, if I was going to put them on the scale, it's the kind of lesser of the three. I think in chronological order it gets kind of worse, but yeah, it's not awful. I think mainly just because it switches things up a little bit. So the one thing I wasn't aware of, the credit I wasn't aware of before I watched it, I didn't realize Ching Soo-dong did the action choreography, and that the fact that they introduced action at all, right? Because it's not really part of the other two at all.
No.
But it feels a little tacked on, like we should probably put some salt. But it's Ching Soo-dong, so even if it's not exactly Ching Soo-dong, firing on all cylinders, but it's decently done wire work. That's
I mean, the end fight's all right.
Yeah, I even liked one of the big things where when they're jumping about. I thought, that's. I mean, if anyone's going to do that, you might as well get Ching Soo-dong to do it, right? He also so this is he directed Empress and the Warriors, right? That's what Ching Soo-dong was up to in 2008. Sorry, carry on, there, Nick.
But I was going to say, I felt it was weirdly restrained. Like the use of the wire work was not that kind of absolutely gravity defying over the top stuff you see. I was like, this is like, it almost could pass for like the crazier end of Japanese stuff, like some of the stuff that goes on in the Lone from Cub films, right? Where there's a bit of that, but then it's also quite grounded. And I felt like a lot of the fight scenes were surprisingly grounded in gravity. It's
grounded, but it's not the thing the Lone Elf and Cub films have, and all the things is they have a certain grit. There's no grit in this film.
No.
Anywhere.
Right.
This film is very pretty.
Someone's gone over this film with those little vacuum cleaners you have for cleaning keyboards, so getting all the, like they do it using a gattaca, right? Like there's no grit in this thing at all, right? It's all very like you said, smooth and pretty, but that's okay. I mean, as long as that's so. We should mention our leads is it's Charlene Choi of Twins fame, right?
Yeah. And the least convincing ever of the might pass for a boy so far.
Yes.
At no point did I'm like, you can't even see her boobs. She hasn't even tied them up tightly enough. Like the whole movie, I'm like, I couldn't see her boobs clearly.
Yeah.
And Woo Chun.
And she keeps going.
Yes.
She's like.
And then Woo Chun. He's quite cute as well. He's quite scrubbed in a boy bandy kind of like Zac Efron version of
in a boy band, because I don't know. I know her obviously because she was one of, back in the Twins were just fucking one of the biggest pop sensations of Asia, right? But and of course she's films. But Woo Chun, I didn't know. I'm wondering if he might be. Well, apparently
he is a singer, actor, and entrepreneur.
He's on a soundtrack. He's on a soundtrack somewhere.
Right.
Yeah,
and I'm sure
he was a member of Fahrenheit.
There we go. That sounds like a boy band.
Taiwanese Mando pop vocal quartet boy band.
What a shame! That's what we were going to call us three. Fahrenheit, right?
Fahrenheit.
So, am I going
to turn up the heat because Nick, Clive, and Tomato are in the room?
There is a tomato. I prefer pineapple.
Pineapple, okay.
Pineapple Jones, yeah.
Pineapple Jones is not bad. And
no, you've got
Pineapple Jones and his all-girl trampoline army.
Because you've got to have one weird-looking one who doesn't sit on the stool correctly in his white suit.
Right.
So it's like East 17, right?
Right.
So like East 17 had like the kind of there was like two conventionally good-looking blokes. And then there was the little weird-looking one with like the bulbous head, like the meat gun.
Well, he was the most popular one as well, wasn't he?
I fucking hate him.
Brian,
let me tell you,
his name, maybe
Brian something.
That, yeah.
Yeah, and I think he got run over by his own car as well,
Did
which gave me yeah. I think he ran himself over with his own car, which I've really liked. But let me tell you something. Now that we're on the topic, right?
Mhm.
Obviously it's Christmas time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could
Yeah.
tell. Yeah.
So yeah. So East 17, the band. So if you're listening outside of the UK, probably you won't understand that East 17 was a boy band.
Like
But
our
they were like,
New Kids on the Block, I suppose, is what they were. Weren't they?
yeah, kind of. Well,
Yeah.
I think Take That were kind of a New Kids on the Block. These were more like the B grade boy band.
Although they did have you mentioned Christmas, wasn't there the Christmas single, like it took
Yeah.
something off the chart? Brian Adams, I think they knocked Brian Adams off the chart or something like that. I know this.
Oh, not all bad.
Watched those old Top of the Pops year by year docs.
Oh yeah,
which
yeah,
are have you ever watched those? Those are surprisingly fucking
They are
amazing.
good.
Yeah,
They are. Yeah, you know, yeah. And there was a in the early 2000s, I think, there was you couldn't move on British TV for list shows.
yeah, clip shows and
Top
things.
100 shows,
Yeah,
and I couldn't stay away from those things anyway.
Right, but those the poppers are good. The reason I say that is because, by and large, because I watched the 90s ones because that's when I was going, and I disliked 95% of that music.
Yeah,
but I still really enjoy watching those shows somehow.
Yeah. But however, and this is very important. So E17
it
were
would
shit.
be, but yeah.
No, I'm taking too long about it. E17 were a really shit boy band, but they instead of being all like pretty, and like they were trying to be like really street and like edgy and hard. Except
that's why I made the New Kids on the Block comparison, because now laughable in retrospect, but I think that's what their shtick was at first, wasn't it?
Yeah, you're right. I think you're right. Yeah. Right. So anyway, so now that it's Christmas time, I work in an office that has a radio on with Christmas music. Right?
Delightful.
And because that song of theirs that was #1 at Christmas, came out at Christmas and has fuck all to do with Christmas, I have to listen to that fucking shit about 6 times a day. Right? And it's not the song is not to do with Christmas, and it's never played at any other time of the year. It's only played at Christmas. So it's not the Christmas song, right? But it's on at Christmas, and it's fucking awful, right? And also Christmas music is awful.
Kind of song, isn't it? It's just
but at this point, having worked in a similar environment for 20 years, I could actually probably quote you all the lyrics. The song is called Stay, I believe.
That's right.
And it must be avoided at all costs.
Although I will say I'm a bit of a damning with faint praise, but I suppose on the one hand, in the context, we should be maybe thankful that it killed that run of hearing Brian Adams's Everything I Do for whatever decade or whatever the fuck that thing was #1 for.
Yeah.
Was that
fair enough.
From the Robin Hood soundtrack, wasn't it?
That one, yeah.
It's kind of like, yes, we've finally got rid of Gaddafi, but all these fucking warlords are taking over the place. So things are roundabouts.
Yeah.
Funny, Darren. I just realized that you haven't spent any time living abroad teaching English, right?
No, that's actually, would you believe, that's one of my biggest regrets in my life.
Okay, but what I'm going to say is that you talk more with your hands than most of us who have lived abroad for 10 years, which is fantastic. Because when I got back to Canada, and I found one of my biggest problems, I go into like McDonald's and I'd be like, I'd like to buy some fries and a drink, and if I could get a hamburger, please. And the person behind the counter is like, I didn't suffer a brain injury. Why are you miming everything you want? And I'm 10 years, 11 years out of living in Japan, and I still constantly talk with my hands. But you do it, and you've never lived in another country for years. That's...
No, I've only ever lived in the UK.
And neither are you Italian, which is the other thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
That I'm aware.
But the bit about that Nick missed out on is because he's doing all that because he never bothered to learn to speak any Japanese.
Oh yes, that yeah, absolutely. So I went to the shop,
yeah,
and I gave them money.
Yeah. Talking with your hands, by the way. Have you seen this? So does everyone in every country, this is not a question to you two, but this is a question to the viewers. Does every country have this?
I don't know, but Ireland certainly does. I can speak to
I thought you would, and I know Clive's, you know.
I remember people doing it. I have to admit, I haven't seen the streets of Tokyo filled with people doing it.
But I used to do it for the kids, you know, when I lived in Japan.
Did you really?
Oh yeah.
That's how he lost his job.
That is how I got fired. It's true. You got to teach them English, Nick. You got to stop with this.
Not these weird fucking slightly phallic hand signs.
Exactly.
Yeah, that time he went into the English class with an elephant tattoo on your stomach, and you asked them to feel its trunk. That's what he got you into trouble.
That didn't go well. Yeah,
especially when it was a very underwhelming trunk once they got their hands on it as well.
It was more like a tapir than an elephant, isn't it?
Indeed.
It's been a while since we had tiny.
I feel like small dick Nick jokes have been sadly lacking for a while. I guess it's because I've been moving house
for Christmas.
Yeah.
That's all right. Well, that's just the greatest hits. It's like Jules Holland's Hootenanny.
Oh, hang on.
Where all the popular bands.
It's like last Christmas I gave you my dick, but you didn't notice.
Yes. Hang on. Let me bring out. I'm going to play Boogie Woogie piano over the top.
That's it.
Regardless of what the fucking music, Jules Holland's going to.
Yeah. They've got Radiohead on. Doing Creep, and he's doing
That's fucking... Apparently when The Fall went on Jules Holland once, they actually had it, they insisted we're only coming off the Jules Holland doesn't play his fucking piano over the top first.
Brilliant. Excellent.
Right.
Anyways, where did we get to on Butterfly Lovers?
Barely anywhere.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you something I liked about this. And I wasn't keen on it. I must say I wasn't keen. I was entertained roughly, right? But something I did like about it was I liked the whole reincarnation vibe.
Right.
So how they just the kind of clever strategy, how they got around doing the same old story that everyone does. They just says, oh yeah, you know those two characters from Love Eternal? They got reincarnated because they're bound to each other for all their lives. So now they're reincarnated into a wuxia, into a waifu wuxia film without very much wuxia in it. So here's the wuxia version of it.
Yeah, so spoilers. So when you're there sitting waiting for that bit at the end, like you were talking about, Darren. Yeah, with this, because I remember I was looking, because I wasn't overly engaged. I saw how much time was left of the film, and I thought, oh, they're really going to drag out this falling in a hole or hit by a lightning or whatever they're going to do version. And I was quite surprised to find out, oh, hang on, so she dies, or actually she takes her own life. I'm assuming.
Well, this is where
no, she doesn't. No, she doesn't die.
Yeah, she does. Was reading Shakespeare.
No.
No.
Right. This is entirely the end of Romeo and Juliet.
Hang on.
Exactly. Yeah.
Into we've got different. We've interpreted this differently. Because that end to me, that makes no sense to me taken literally. I think that's like a fantasy sequence.
No.
The spirit is imagining being in the grave with him. That's how I read it.
Can I bust that though? Can I attempt to bust that?
Right.
were that the
I
case,
am a hymen awaiting you, Darren.
I was going to say, pop that cherry, Darren, please.
I'm coming in dry, Clive. Right? So were that the case, why on earth were there 5 scenes in this film preceding that about the special tablet that the herb monk makes that makes you pretend you're dead for 3 days?
Which is entirely pulled from fucking Romeo and Juliet. Like, I mean, I caught it quite early in the film. I was like, oh, they're going to totally do the end of
Now
Romeo
that
and
you
Juliet.
mention it, yes, I had forgotten that bit of exposition, which I suppose might kind of show how, even though I didn't mind it, how largely
how little you were paying attention,
unengaged in it, I suppose. But no, actually, that makes perfect sense now. But
but that also makes it edgy. It makes the end edgier. Which
it's a bit more Tales from the Crypt suddenly when she's lying there still alive. Yeah, they're shoveling dirt onto her face. You're like, oh shit. Because I watched it with my wife. It was like, this is a very Cask of Amontillado or whatever the fuck kind of a Edgar Allan Poe ending on this thing.
Oh, I'm glad we actually discussed that in this case, because that is the first time so that is quite a grim ending.
She's buried alive.
Yeah,
and
you wonder why none of the people throwing Earth in noticed, because she does.
That is weird.
She's moving around as well, isn't she? She's like,
they're just shoveling it on.
Now we've started now, so
might as well finish. Although the shitty CGI butterflies were a hard one for me to take. That was really. I was like 2008. Surely you could come up with some better butterflies than those.
Yeah, but also they were in like this fucking video game,
paradise,
clearing fucking paradise by the lake thing.
It was a little bit of gilding the lily, right? Because in Love Return you just get the 2 little butterflies at the end, and that's fine. But no, we did 1 million. But it's like fucking Roland Emmerich decided.
Going back to Choi Hark, like at least he gave us some real butterflies and whatever that mad fucking giallo thing he made.
Butterfly murder. Yes.
Yes. At least it was some actual art.
Actually, there is jam, aren't they?
Yeah, well, butterflies are famously hard to direct, right? Because they just sit there and don't do anything. And how many butterflies did they kill in the making of that film? Like, trying to get them to do shit?
Quite a few.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's that in Calamity of Butterflies?
Yes, the Pili-Pala massacre.
Pili-Pala Holocaust, surely.
Yes.
Yeah. So anyway. But generally, this film has fuck all to do with any of the other films, right? So
well, as Nick said, they've kind of shoehorned Romeo and Juliet into it, haven't they?
And Wuja, and sort of to some degree Chambara. A lot of the framing and stuff felt much more. And actually, the guy who plays, so the real villain of this piece, which I guess we should also mention, isn't the parents this time. So actually, T-Long gets to be not such a piece of shit as Elvis was. He's kind of almost a victim here, him and his wife, because there's actually this other. It's the promised husband, right? Who is the real scumbag. And he's not bad. He has a kind of a bit of a fucking what's his name? Nakadai Tatsuya. He's like nowhere near as good, but he's got a bit of the kind of facial structure and the haunted eyes, going on. And then actually, who's the other guy? The little kind of sketchy feral,
like
Steve Buscemi, like
the
serial killer guy who's lurking on the outskirts as well.
Yeah. No, I liked him. The one with the spear, right?
Yeah. That's
I liked him. He's got Frankie Chan vibes. Clive, do you think? Yeah, he's like a Frankie Chan in Prodigal Son vibe going. Yeah.
So but now that you bring that, it's funny. It never occurred to me before, but so this is very much the Romeo and Juliet star-crossed. I mean, even at its source, I suppose it had never really occurred to me before. But if you were to make you have those grids, or I can't remember what they're called, where they kind of cross-reference all kind of myths from around the world, and where, you know, and they're all like, I don't know, Snow White or something in the system is afforded, like it's called like A38B or something like that. Like, so if you were to do a similar thing, then this would find an interface with Romeo and Juliet.
Well,
right?
you lads read Joseph Campbell's The Hero of a Thousand Faces or whatever, right? So surely you could bring.
Don't remind me.
Yes, we looked through the pages as they turned, as opposed to reading it, I think, because we glazed over.
Okay.
Well, what we actually did is we opened up Joseph Campbell and then went, and then there was blood on the page,
lungs,
and then we died.
Yes. Yeah. Does that answer your question?
That does very well. Yeah, very
tiny donged thing.
Yeah.
But
So,
I don't remember Romeo and Juliet coming up in that. It might have done. I don't know. Like we said,
No, it wasn't. No, because it's not really. It wasn't the mythology he's on about. But no, but it is. It's certainly a trope, isn't it? But it's whether or not it's a trope in China at that time, which means it's not related. But obviously, you know, it being made in 2008, then everything's everywhere. So
also in terms of Joseph Campbell, if it doesn't fit his theory, then he just throws it out, right?
Right. But it's probably a nod towards Baz Luhrmann's fucking, you know, one with
that's right. Yeah, not Kate Beckinsale. What's her name?
No.
Kate. What's her name?
You know,
Leonardo
she's in Terminator 3, the redhead, My So-Called Life, whatever her name is. And you know,
Claire Danes.
Claire Danes, and Leonardo DiCaprio. Like I'm sure that's in the DNA of this.
Yeah, actually, I hadn't thought of that. Yeah. But also, well, something that let me down on this, apart from right at the end, that end fight where he kind of storms the compound is not bad, right? But it's like, you know, it starts the almost the opening scene, not quite the opening scene, but one of the first scenes in the film is like this confrontation in the town square where, you know, what's his name, Wu Chen saves Twins girl, you know, from some thugs and some thieves. So it starts off very, very, very wuxia, right? And then she goes to learn kung fu at the temple, right? And Ching Su Dong is fucking choreographing it. And yet it's not got a lot of wuxia in it. It's not got a lot of kung fu in it. It's not got hardly any wire work in it. It's, you know, you know, Ching Su Dong was probably on set for a week, 2 weeks on this, you know, judging by the amount of set pieces there are, you know, and it's not even about keeping it grounded. You know, I'm fine with that, but it's just the punctuation, you know, if you're going to do wuxia, right, do wuxia, right? But this...
That's why I said it feels a bit soldered on, doesn't it? It feels like...
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
To be honest, I wasn't expecting that at all. I didn't know that going in, so it was more a little bonus as opposed to feeling lacking of something that I was expecting. You know?
Yeah, but I mean, but the thing, I suppose the test is, going back, you know, we're on the wrong podcast for this, right? But if we were on Achifu's looking at this, then we would be saying, okay, if you didn't know who the action choreographer was, if you didn't know who the action director was, would you be able to tell it's someone decent like Ching Su Dong?
Well, I would say yes, because before I looked it up, when that stuff happened, even though I didn't think it was amazing, I do remember making a note to myself, oh, that's done by someone who knows how to do it, I would say. I might not have gone as far as long, but it wasn't terrible. Let's put it this way. It didn't it might have let the side down if you expected more of it, but what there's there didn't let the side down, I don't know.
No, it's fine, right? It's fine. But there's not enough of it. If that's the film you're making, right? There's not enough of it. There's not enough action to keep action people interested. But also it's, you know, it's not very imaginative, right? And I will say, with the exception of the final battle, with the exception of the final,
I don't think it is a film
fight,
for action people, though. That's the thing. I don't think that's
no.
So,
of course not. No, but again, you know, I mean, it kind of, I couldn't get away from feeling this is a waste of Ching Su Dong.
Yeah, but I feel it's one of those things where someone, you know, people do this sometimes. Like we're going to do this, so we're going to bring in. It's like when they do a Hollywood film or something, and they load it with stars, and each one's only 30 seconds, and you think, you know, what's the? I understand the name value or whatever. Now, clearly, it's we're doing action. Get me the finest action director in all of Christendom. You know. So it's that kind of thing, I think. But obviously not given that. And for him, it would have been, he's directing this other huge film, An Empress and the Warriors, at the same time. And can you fly over and do some action? Yeah, why not? I'm not doing anything else that week.
It's fun. It's fun. There's nothing wrong with it. It's fun.
I said this thing to Jennifer as we were watching it, which is really uncharitable and probably mean or unfair. But we were watching the film.
Oh, no, we don't do that on this show, Nick. You take that elsewhere. Yeah, we're lovely and loving on this.
But just looking at how scrubbed and pretty and kind of like everyone is, right? And then thinking back to the Chambara, you know, of that, and for that matter, for like Chinese films of that kind of like 50s, 60s, 70s kind of thing. Like, nobody looks in this movie like they had to fight over a bowl of rice with somebody else at like a black market post-war. Like, there's just there's a roughness to actors of that era that had lived through that kind of life, and then there's just kind of overall softness. You know, it always kind of pushes me out a little bit. I'm like, oh, these people look like they're airbrush magazine people, right?
They've got quite a good skincare regime.
They really do.
And even when they're getting, getting murdered, you know, in the fight for their lives and their lovers, they're still impeccably coiffed.
And the way the blood sprays is somehow attractive. Like, it's just
exactly, it's just like a little streak down there.
However, they look like fucking Fellini or Pasolini or Fassbinder actors compared to now contemporary wuxia things out of mainland China and Korea, where sometimes you have difficulty distinguishing between CGI and human faces with that, all that plastic surgery, right?
I mean, the one thing I'm kind of skipping to the end of my conclusions on this, but the one thing I wrote was, at the end of my notes was, at least it's not grey, right? Because this is the era of the grey, rainy film, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right. Admittedly, a lot of the fights do take place in the rain at the end,
but they're at least they're high contrast color. They're proper reds and proper blues, and
it's
looks quite nice.
It does.
But even the mud at the end when they trowel on the mud, it looks like someone's washed the mud.
Yes.
In advance. It doesn't, even though
it's sterilized.
Conceptually, it's grim. I know somehow visually it's like, it's not that bad, buried alive. It doesn't feel. You don't feel like,
because there's no grit to it, like you said. There's no grit to it. Everything's clean and everyone's beautiful.
Polished mud.
Yeah.
Except for poor T Long, who used to be beautiful, but
T Long is still beautiful.
Oh, okay. Yes.
Never let Geraldine hear you saying that.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Geraldine will be on a flight to your house.
Can't polish a T Long.
Yes.
I believe T Long may become a euphemism for turd.
No.
Don't tell Geraldine that either.
She'll have you as well.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. But no, yeah, and it's a shame actually. I would have loved to have seen a bit more T Lung in this.
Yeah.
Because he's fucking T Lung.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's in like 3 scenes maximum.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't have much more to say. I don't know what you've
No, I it might be.
It's what I said at the beginning, that I didn't. This wasn't nearly as painful as I imagined it would. It should have, and it maybe, yeah. I was even surprised. I was taken aback by how little annoyed I was by it all, given that it had all of these things in my mind as check marks against it, and I was still like, "This is fine. This is fine."
Into middle age, Nick, is what it is.
That could be it.
Like, I felt the same thing. I felt the same thing watching this film and going, it's kind of the equivalent of that old Mary Whitehouse Experience character, right? What's this? It's got a good beat. Like, getting on with a film like this is a bit like listening to teenage as music. And, this is I like it.
Yeah, I think I have to say I wasn't annoyed by it, so it wasn't a chore to watch.
Plus, as well, sorry, doing that, but 15 years too late, because
because it's this movie's already.
No one's going to get the reference, right?
Yeah. But no, I think that it's it's a matter of time, isn't it, as well? What is the line in Chinatown about even whores and politicians become respectable or something like that over time? Like, I think there's a certain, like, something like this, you never would have watched this in
2008, no.
But now you kind of, because things have progressed even further, right? So even
it degraded.
Degraded. Depending on your point of view, we've finally caught up with cutting edge 2008. Right?
But this is still better than the recent fucking grey shit that we watched, right?
Well, to be honest now, I think that even that reference is like, I think we might have gone out the other side of the grey here. I don't know if it's still grey. I think that's
well, I think we need to watch Sakura then. Right? So Sakura is the last big one.
Well, I watched that for
oh, you did see it. Okay.
Talk with Robin about that. Yeah, no, it's particularly grey. It's a bit it's slightly grayer than this, but then again it's a different type. It's not
no, it looked a bit grey. I haven't watched it. I've got it, but I haven't watched it.
But it's all right.
Okay.
All right. It has its moments, but it's All
right. Okay.
Not my favourite Donnie, but it's okay.
Yeah. Well, Mismatched Couples is the best on the end film.
Or, Enter the Fat Dragon, Did we watch that?
No, Nick didn't watch that. No.
No, we watched it though, didn't we? You and me.
Yeah, we watched it. We watched it. Yeah, we watched it with the original Enter the Fat Dragon.
Right.
Yeah. And The Victim, if I remember right.
Did we?
Yeah, I think we did the Samuel Victim, or rather Enter the Fat Dragon, Victim, and then the other Enter the Fat Dragon as a bonus.
And the streams will cross once more, hopefully, in the festive season, whereas Nick may join us on the next episodes whenever that comes out.
Yeah.
Something to look forward to. So we're done with butterflies for now, right?
Yeah. Although, well, let's, for 1 second, let's go back to that grim ending, right? Because I don't think we gave a full flavour of the spoiler, by the way. So anyway, so he's died, right? So he's been mortally wounded, and then he wins the fight, and then he takes the body to the butterfly place, the CGI butterfly place.
The body of the girl who he thinks is lost,
who he thinks is dead,
but is in fact drugged into a state.
Exactly. She's taken the magic pill that they've spent the whole film fucking setting up. And then he digs a hole, and then he puts her in the hole, and then he dies next to her. And then his monk friends from the Kung Fu school come and start burying them. And then she wakes up. And then she realizes he's dead and realizes she's alive. And she says, oh, yeah, that's cool. I'm alive. And she says, oh yeah, but he's dead. So I'm just going to close my eyes and let people shovel a ton of dirt onto my face and suffocate to death. Which was pretty good, actually.
Merry Christmas!
Merry Christmas.
Oh,
Happy New Year.
ShawScope.
Merry Christmas. Yeah.